Screens can be loud, but, children absorb so much more than we realize.
Hmm.
When parents take private conflicts public, the impact so often lands on the very children they're trying to protect.
Welcome to Muted Screens, a faceless space reflecting on digital boundaries, privacy,
Yeah.
and the unseen emotional cost of public conflict. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. In our first episode, we're diving into a behavior that has become really normalized on our feeds.
Right.
Parents publicly airing arguments with their partners. You know what we mean. The vague, passive-aggressive post, the angry rant after a fight,
Oh, yeah.
or even just like a flurry of telling likes on certain comments.
And it often comes from a place of needing to feel heard or validated.
Exactly.
But what we want to explore today is the unintended audience, the children. When a family's private pain is put on public display,
Yeah.
what's the emotional cost for them?
It's so much deeper than just momentary embarrassment.
Right.
It was reading this fascinating long-term study that really puts it into perspective. Researchers followed children from the age of 2 all the way to 10.
Wow.
And what they found was that exposure to destructive parental conflict as a toddler was a powerful predictor of internalizing problems. Things like anxiety, depression, and deep-seated worry 8 years later.
8 years. That's not a fleeting feeling.
No.
That's a developmental pathway. The study talks about a core concept, emotional security.
Right.
Think of it as a child's internal safe harbor, the fundamental belief that their family is a stable and secure base. Every time a conflict happens, it sends waves into that harbor. But when it goes public,
It's like the storm is now being broadcast on a giant screen for everyone to see.
yeah,
It amplifies the child's feeling of instability. They're not just witnessing a fight.
right.
They're witnessing the public performance of a fight, and that just brings in a whole new layer of shame and anxiety.
And the research points out that it's not always the loudest part of the storm that does the most damage. It's the emotional aftermath. That's the lingering tension, the unresolved anger, the silent treatment that follows a fight.
Wow.
The study found this specific element was profoundly damaging for both boys and girls because it just erodes their security. The feeling that the conflict isn't truly over is what haunts them.
And a social media post never feels over, does it?
No.
It just sits there. A child can see it, their friends can see it,
Yeah.
and the comments section becomes a public jury for their family's private life. It makes me think about how a child processes that. At home, they feel the tension between their parents. Then they go online and see a post from their mom with an aunt commenting, "You deserve better." Now the child feels stuck between all these adults.
That's a perfect example of what researchers call triangulation.
Right.
The child is pulled into the conflict. They might feel pressured to take a side or feel responsible for managing the emotions of the adults around them,
Yeah.
continuing both online and off. The study also made a distinction in the types of conflict.
Okay.
The research found hostile, destructive tactics like verbal insults or stonewalling were found to be especially damaging to a girl's sense of attachment security with her parents.
So, for a young girl, seeing that kind of public aggression could make her feel that her direct relationship with a parent is less safe,
Wow.
which is a direct line to developing that internalizing anxiety we talked about. It's the spillover effect. The parental conflict doesn't stay between the parents.
Right.
It seeps into and contaminates the parent-child relationship.
This spillover effect is really important to understand. When parents are in high conflict relationships, they tend to become harsher or more inconsistent in their parenting.
Yeah.
So the child gets hit twice, first from witnessing the conflict itself, and second from the way that conflict degrades their relationship with each parent.
And through all of this, the child is trying to make sense of it. I can't help but think they must start to blame themselves.
That's exactly right. Especially for younger children, their worldview is very self-centered. When they see turmoil, a very common coping mechanism is to conclude, "This must be my fault."
So at home, they feel this terrible weight of being the cause. Then they go online and see their family's pain displayed for everyone to judge.
Right. And it's not just about their current anxiety. This is shaping their future, isn't it?
Exactly. We're essentially handing them a blueprint for what relationships look like.
If their primary example of partnership is hostility, withdrawal, public shaming, that becomes their internal model for how relationships work.
Concerning, research shows this can lead to poor interpersonal skills, problems in their own adult relationships down the line.
But here's where the research offers some hope.
Okay,
It makes a really important distinction. The problem isn't disagreement itself, it's how you disagree.
right.
The research separates destructive conflict from constructive conflict. Destructive is the name-calling, the insults, giving the silent treatment.
Yeah.
But constructive conflict is when you see a problem, you discuss it with respect, you listen to each other, and you work together towards a resolution.
When children witness that, the outcome is completely different.
Exactly. They actually learn something positive. They learn that disagreement doesn't mean the family is going to fall apart, that problems can be solved.
It reinforces their emotional security. It shows them the safe harbor can weather a storm and that the parents are a capable team.
But a public rant on social media, by definition, can never be constructive.
Never.
Because it's a performance of grievance, not a process of resolution. There's no listening, no problem solving, no repair work afterward.
And here's something really troubling from the research. Children as young as 6 months can show distress when their parents fight.
6 months?
Yes, their reactions include fear, anger, anxiety, and they're at higher risk of experiencing health problems, disturbed sleep, difficulty focusing at school.
So we're talking about impacts that can begin in infancy and continue well into their adult lives.
Exactly. Some children externalize their distress through aggression, hostility, antisocial behavior. Others internalize it, leading to depression, anxiety, and withdrawal.
What's particularly heartbreaking is that parents often post online because they genuinely need support. They're looking for validation from their friends, but they're not thinking about the unintended audience.
Right. They're thinking of themselves in that moment. They aren't considering, what does this look like to my child? Or how will this feel when my teenager's friend sees this 2 years from now?
And that brings us back to the concept of digital boundaries. It's not just about limiting screen time.
It's about recognizing that our digital footprint affects our children's emotional well-being. When we post about family conflicts, we're essentially making our children's private pain public.
And unlike a heated argument at home that eventually ends, a social media post creates what the researchers call a permanent aftermath. It just sits there, available for anyone to see, including our children, their friends, their teachers.
Imagine being a child and walking into school knowing that your mom's angry post about your dad last night, or having a friend bring up your parents' problems because they saw it online.
That's an impossible burden for a child to carry. They didn't choose to make their family's problems public, but they have to live with the consequences.
Which is exactly why we wanted to have this conversation. It's about pausing before we post and considering the silent witnesses to our digital lives. Setting digital boundaries isn't just about our own screen time. It's about safeguarding our children's peace. It's about recognizing that some family matters require a muted screen.
So before we close, we want to leave you with a question to think about. If you were a child today and you saw your private family life discussed publicly online, what one word would describe how you'd feel?
Take a moment to really sit with that feeling and remember that your children might be experiencing exactly that every time family conflicts go public online.
When private conflicts go public, children become silent witnesses.
Protect their peace. Set boundaries.
Some things are better muted.